Sam Carrick just feels like a guy you know exactly what you're going to get from him every night. Just what has he meant to this team and just the role that he's filled for these guys with Matt Ruby being able to do it?
Well, he's the ultimate teammate. He does the thankless jobs, the hard stuff, sticks up for his teammates, competes hard out there, blocks shots, brings physical play. He does a lot of the thankless jobs that are so important to teams. He sticks up for guys all the time. I just think he plays the game with so much courage. Um, you know, it's hard not to like a guy like that. He's a fierce competitor.
Is he the kind of guy when you look at him that you and Chris would want as part of what this organization wants to become with the way he plays and the way he represents?
Yeah, well, I think his most redeeming quality is his competitiveness, and that's something that I think every organization in the league values. It's hard to win in this league if you don't have a certain competitive spirit, and a willingness to pay the price to win, and I think Sam certainly possesses that.
Adam had said last night that it's been tough this year, for the guys in the room, everything that's going on.
Adam who?
I'm sorry?
Adam who?
Fox.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm just wondering though, do you have a sense of how difficult this year's been for the guys who've been here for a while that have experienced success with the organization?
Yeah, I have a sense that it's been really hard. It's been hard on all of us, but for those guys that have built a history here, that I can only imagine, how it feels for them. So, none of us are where we want to be right now, but we are where we are. We're trying to do the best to make the best decisions moving forward. So, do I have a sense of how hard it's been? Yes.
With the deadline coming up, is it something that you feel like is incumbent on you to address, whether with the team or individually, or is that something that as a coach, like, you don't want to really get in players' heads with? Like, how do you handle that?
Well, we've already addressed the circumstance that we're in. I don't know that this week changes anything, based on what we've been dealing with for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So, and yeah, we've had conversations with the team and individuals, around it, because it's our job to try to help them, navigate through their own respective circumstances to try to help them be the best versions of themselves. So we've had some conversations around it. The trade deadline is never an easy time for players. That's just been my experience, both as a player, but also coaching a number of teams over the years. This week is always, there's a level of uncertainty that players have to deal with. It's just the reality of the business. It's part of what we all sign up for. Everybody understands it, but I don't think it makes it any easier. I think these guys are all human beings, and to have some certainty in their life is comforting. So, this is never an easy time for players.
Going through what you guys have gone through this season, as a coach, do you feel like has it afforded you an opportunity to get to know these guys in a different way, learn about them in ways that maybe can help your personal relationships with them down the line, or just how do you see that kind of dynamic for yourself?
Well, regardless of how a season unfolds, I think players and coaches build relationships, as part of the journey, because you go through every season takes on its own story, it's its own journey, so to speak, and you go on that journey together. And you go through ups and downs and good things and not so good things, and I think through those experiences you build relationships, and I think our staff has done that with this group over the course of the season. I think they have a better understanding of who I am as a coach and what I represent, what I value, and where the expectations are. And I've got to know some of these guys on a, more personal level to try to help them, become the best versions of themselves. So I just think that's part of it, regardless of, whether you're experiencing success or you're going through challenging times like we are.
What do you need or want to see from this group in the final 20-something games of the season?
Well, we want to see a group that competes hard every night, and controls everything within their power to give ourselves the best chance to win. So there's been opportunities for some of the young guys to come up and make an impact on the game, try to establish themselves as NHL players. There's opportunities for other guys that have played in the league that are looking to extend their careers or solidify their spot on the Rangers. There's always something to play for, and that's how I just think that's the reality of it. And so, the conversation that I've had a lot with the players most recently is, let's stay in the moment. Let's try to ignore a lot of the noise. Let's play hard for one another. Let's control the controllables. And, if we do that, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win. Let's feel good about it. At the end of the day, that's really, that's all you can control. And if you get up every day and you have the right intentions and you put the right effort, you bring the right attitude, you compete extremely hard, then you can look in the mirror and like what you see. I think that's important. And so, we've got a job to do, and we're going to do it every day, and our job is to put our best game on the ice to try to help the Rangers have success.